and the horror scene. So if you don't know what this blue is, this is just navigation. Make sure you have navigation static on objects. Like these things, I didn't make them batching static because I have to move some things around. Normally I would do that too, but navigation static. Go over here, hit the bake. Takes a couple minutes, and then you get this blue. This is where AI can move. Okay, I didn't dress it up all fancy. It's just a basic nav mesh. So we have a zombie here, and we want him to do stuff. And I am going to tag him. Oh, I got a tag called bad guy, and that's probably good. He needs a animator, which he has. I think just by default his normal demo animator. So we need, I'm going to create a blend tree. I'll call it motion, and in it we're going to have this float. I'm going to change this to speed, and we have in here we have idle, we have a I'll see if I can do the root motion. He doesn't have any turning animations, so that'll make it a little more difficult. If he has turning animations, if you haven't seen my video on how to do turning, like what the root motion AI, it's a nice little video. By all means, take a look at it. This one we don't have the turning animation, so I can't necessarily do that. Actually, I'm going to delete those. We don't even need those. So that's our root motion movement. We need a way to die. So I'm just going to drag that in, and we need an attack, and we're going to need triggers. We need an attack trigger, and we need a death trigger. So if we get no exit time, death. Actually, no, I'm not going to put it there. I'm going to put the death off from any state. That way, even if he's attacking, he'll still die. And then from the locomotion to the attack, uncheck that, and attack. Nice and simple. And he needs a nav mesh agent. And he needs a FSM. So without the turning animations, I'm not going to sync up his movement. I suppose I could. Yeah, okay, sure. We will. Oh, I have to unprefab him. So let's animation, or animator, I should say. We want to sync that. Nav mesh agent animator synchronizer. Now he's going to move with the animations. Now if we don't have turning animations, sometimes I don't use that, and instead I do something more like this, and then I use the root motion to propel him forward, but I use the nav mesh to turn him, which we might have to do, but we'll see if that's the case. So what we are going to do is we need a way for him to... Now, does he really need to be able to see the player, or is he going to be more of a... he knows who the player is. Okay, let's say idle to attack. So, do we have a global game object? Let's go next frame. Next frame event. Get or set game object. And this will be our globals. We don't have one, so let's make one. And I haven't had any luck doing globals. And I think I've kind of learned why. But so this we're going to move that to the globals. Okay, so now he's got. We're going to set our player target. No. We're going to set our target variable as this global. So we're going to make sure we store that somewhere. So let's put it not in that one. Sure, this one will work. Just to make sure we have this, I'm just going to go a next frame. And set game object. But this time I'm going to set the global with this owner. So in this guy, because now there is a chance that this isn't set yet. So I'm going to do this. So if player not equal null. If that's true, then we're done. Right, so now if I hit play, I mean this should all happen insanely fast. Right? Oh. Okay, well, we're not going to worry about that right now. So he did next frame, he got this, it's true, he has a target. Life is good, right? And if I were to disable the player, and for now let's disable that one, not that one, and hit play, the player is not going to set his global. So the zombie is like, hey, what the hell, I don't have a player. But the player comes into the game and he's like, okay, I got a player, I'm good. So that's kind of what that's doing. Alright, so the zombie now has a way. Okay, so animator, we are on that. So this guy had an error. Nav mesh agent velocity, assign temp for zombie 1 is not valid. Input velocity is 0. You know what? If it's going to give me issues, I'm going to get rid of it. There we go. It's gone. So this guy, all we're going to do is I'm going to use this method here. So this is kind of a light version of root motion for zombies. So if this guy has a target, we would need a way to tell him to attack. So I think the best thing to do in this style of game, now you could build a sight system, but I think with this guy it would be better just to use triggers to say, okay, the player's entered the trigger, you know, go after the player. So with that in mind, I'm just going to build a trigger event, or a event, not trigger event, called attack. Now if this is hit, all we want to do is set animator float. And doing it this way, you almost don't even need to blend tree. I could have just did a bool on some states. Give it a bit of a damp time, and then I am going to agent set agent. Do I not have the agent package in yet? I thought I would have. All right. Let's take a look here. Pathfinding. Let's get that one. If you don't have that one, that's where all your AI stuff is. So, okay, now agent, we'll use this guy, and we're going to tell him to just go to the player. Maybe some of that. So, just to show you kind of now, we'll just finish him. So he does it right off the bat here. Let's make sure he's able to turn with root motion without turning animations. And there he goes. Oh, I paused it. See? He's running. So the agent is trying to get me, and the root motion's more or less screwing that up for him. So he's running circles around me. So that is okay. I am actually okay with that. I'm going to put some of that in because now all I'm going to do is smooth look at the target. Now this probably isn't the best thing to do for indoor stuff though. Right now, obviously, he needs to stop when he gets close. But yeah, for indoors, it's really just probably not a good idea, you know? Because he's really not going to be able to function too well in the ways of going around corners and so forth in case the player runs. So that's probably not the best idea. We would need turning animations and tweak things pretty hard. So I think I'm just going to avoid that for now. So let's just go like that. Turned off root motion. We'll just use the... Oh, and I have, of course, I have a speed set. Stupid. Alright. So there we have something like that. A little more direct. So I think what we'll do is, actually, you know what? I think I will just go 30 here, whatever. Right? You just have an idle state and go to a running state. So, but the other thing we'll need to do, right? So we have this now. If get distance. Get agents. Oh, we can get the remaining distance of this every frame. Store as our distance. Float compare. Move that down. And if distance is less than, we'll say 3, then we're going to start hitting every frame. So if he starts hitting, then first of all we need to set animator float. I don't know why sometimes it doesn't let me do that. I'm just going to copy this guy over actually. And paste here. And the value is going to be 0. And I'm going to bring these back over. Because now if the distance is greater, he's going to need to chase. So while he's here, so we're close, and we need to smooth look at. That's just an easy way to do it. Look at target. Doesn't need to be super high. And we'll give this guy a bit of a value though, and can hit. Now if he can hit, he's going to come over here and set animator trigger. Attack. And he is just going to wait. You can almost do a random wait if you wanted to. Say about 2 seconds. And of course he's not going to be moving anymore, but that's okay. So now he should turn, run. Okay. Let's see what he's doing. And he's obviously close. So let's get. Why is his speed still up there though? Right? His speed's at 1. We don't want that. We want his speed to be. I'm going to take the damping time down. Or I guess I could keep it up, but we gotta bring it over and put it in this one too. And let's bring that down a little bit. And he has a stopping distance. Let's give that 2. Let's bring this out a bit to 3.5. See how that looks. Oh, where did this go? Oh, yeah, I totally forgot about that. So if we bring this guy distance, he's at 3, right? This guy's at 3.5. So we got to make sure to set them both the same. Or else we get some sort of crazy loop, and that's no good. But I think that distance, even that distance is, I'm going to take that out to 4. And I'm going to take this guy's acceleration up to 10. I'm going to take that up to 3. So now we have, oh, you can come out a little bit farther, or come closer. go 3 there. Let's take this guy back down to 3, which means we're going to take this guy down to 3. Alright, we have to re-trigger him, so. Nope, he's. Okay, what are we doing? So, he needs to get remaining distance. That needs to be over there. Okay. So let's copy and paste him in. Put him at 2, this guy 3, and this guy 2, this guy 3. That's a little far, but I mean, not bad. And if I back up, he's just gonna, yeah. Okay, well, I can live with that. I mean, it's not perfect. It definitely needs some tweaks, right? 2.5 might be a little close. Maybe 2.75 might be better, but whatever. Now, okay, so he needs a health. And he needs a way to damage the player, right? So our player, right there, has health. And if he takes damage, we get a integer, and it does all this fun stuff. So this guy, he needs an event. This is how we're going to do this. We're going to also call this damage because I like that. And he needs to set event int. And okay, well, let's do a random int. And we'll say, I don't know, this is 15 to 30. Sure. That's our damage, and we're going to set damage. Okay. We need to send an event. We have nothing to send it to yet, so we got to get that fixed up. And I'm just going to do this briefly. Whoops, not that. Our player to the health, to the damage. And this is going to be our, I suppose I could use it global, but I'm not going to because I don't like it. All I'm going to do is get FSM game object. I'm just going to stick that in here too. You could use the global. But I'm going to do it this way. So when this fires, this will do stuff. Now, with the player running around, you might want to add a distance check, right? That's actually, like, a lot of people will say run colliders and stuff like that, so the collider has to hit your player. I find that to be such a pain to deal with on AI. Lots of times I'll run the animation, and then when I hit to this stage, I'll do a distance check. Like, oh, you know, the player's still within 3 or 4 distance, so let's just send damage. Let's not worry about colliders. And it just makes life so much easier. But anyways, to get to this point, damage. We have here an animation, and all I'm going to do is go to the events portion of this, and I'm going to say at that stage, send event, make sure it is spelt right, damage. And this is a double attack, so he's going to come over and he's right there. Send event damage. Now you might also want to do sound effects, like some roaring or something around here and here or something like that. but yeah, I don't have a whole lot of sound effects. So just that alone, just doing that, he will now run over. Oh, what do we have? Oh, that was from before. I don't have to worry about that. So this is firing. And he's sending that off. And the player is damaging. There we go. It's working. I mean, your player doesn't actually technically die. The damage is random. Okay, so that part's working. That definitely could use some sound effects though, eh? I really don't have... Well, you know what? Screw it. We're going to add sound effects. And I'm going to add them right here. I'm going to just use this one for our animator. Attack sound. Okay. So, I am going to audio play, and you might want to do a random list on this one with an audio pitch kind of idea. But I'm just going to grab whatever we have, because I don't think I have a whole lot. Hopefully you guys have more. So here we have, somewhere around here, I know I have seen zombie something. Footsteps. Alright, let's go with that one. And over here, I'm going to copy this, paste it over here, and I'm going to use instead that guy. That'll work. Alright, so back to our zombie animation, to our attack, to our events. We'll say here, we'll send an event, and attack sound, spell it right, or else it won't work. Copy, and over here I'm going to do the same thing. There we go. And the zombie doesn't have an audio source, so that's not going to work. There we go. That'll fix that. Alright. You could keep adding on to that too, and particles, blood screen. I don't have anything for that right now, but it would be kind of cool to put something there. I mean, I can make a small fake one, I suppose. We got time. So I'm going to slow his attack down though. Let's go 3 seconds. Okay. And save. So if we were to go to our stuff, create a material and make it transparent, go kind of a red, and obviously bring the alpha way down. Now, do I have any good textures that are kind of a hollow? I mean, I could use something like that, I suppose. All this kind of stuff. This stuff works. I mean, it's not great, but it will work. even things like that. Okay. So this is kind of a poor man's way of doing this, by the way, but it will work. Is we have our player, we have our camera holder, we have camera effects, we have our camera. I can even probably put this under our camera effects. Let's give a plane and put it on its -90. And it doesn't need to be nearly that big. And this plane could use, I don't know if I named that material. New material is probably that one right there. New material, let's call this one our blood. Alright, so let's go up. I'm going to make this a unlit color. No, unlit texture. No. Alpha, albedo. Alright, where is this thing? Alright, so that needs yeah, see, no, that needs, let's do, yeah, I think I'm pretty sure I need that transparent. But I would rather have this thing unlit. Well, that one actually shows a bit of color for us. Alright, we need alright. So camera. Do I make it so we have two cameras? No, of course not. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually build another camera. And this guy is going to go with nothing. His priority is going to be higher. Get rid of his audio listener. And we need a layer. I'll use the transparent FX. How about? So this guy can go in transparent FX. And this camera, our normal camera, can no longer see that. But this camera can only see that. So now let's go with, where's my plane? There's my plane. So that's still not looking right. Like I said, like it would be so much nicer if that was unlit. I don't know. I don't think I can do. Oh, well, that kind of works. Works better, anyways. All right. Well, if you can have an unlit one, you're better off. So all I'm going to do now is to get kind of fancy on this, because it's the poor man's blood, is I'm going to take this guy, his mesh renderer as a variable, and on hit we need to get property of the planes mesh renderer. We need the material color alpha, and then we are going to set property down here. Now, if you have like a blood effect post-processing, you're way better off than this. This is kind of a thing. Every frame. So I'm getting it and I'm setting it, and then I'm going to interpolate that alpha, but I'm going to put it in between those. So we're getting it, and we're getting from it to 1 over, I don't know, 0.25 seconds, storing as it. Okay, and then I'm going to wait to the bottom, say 1.5 seconds. Might want to go a little longer, but we will see. Finish, come over here, and we're going to do the exact same thing. Copy and paste, and this time we're going to go to 0. And over a much longer period, let's say 1. And that's it. So now let's set the alpha on this guy. I should be using a 1. Okay, so now on this guy, when we take damage, we can send event to ourselves, to the blood on hit. Now we should have a poor man kind of blood system. And yes, I know it's a poor method, but hey, it works. It doesn't look that bad, and it was free. That's cool. I'm down with that. Alright, what are we doing for time? That's probably just about at time. So zombie, before we prefab him, we still need a way to kill him. So he needs an integer health. Let's default it to, I don't know, we'll say 50, and he needs an event called damage, where he can get event data, int, and that's going to be damage, and int op, operator. We need to move that down. We're going to take health, subtract damage, stores health, and int compare. If health is equal that, or if it's less, then go that way. And that way is set animator trigger to death. Plain and simple. And I think the other thing we're going to want to do with that is on here we also want to disable this guy, and we're going to disable this guy, and well, we might as well just disable this whole thing, probably for the best. And at the very end we're going to disable, oh, I've already got that one there, damage and health. Disable ourselves, but leave it at the end, so these ones get first. So let's move this guy down below those ones, because we don't want to call any kind of movement if he's disabled. So disable those, then disable him, then disable the health. Okay, so we have health and we have damage. So the player, oops, on the pistol arms, when we're shooting, here we have this stuff, right? So I don't have a blood texture. Oh, shoot. Material. Oh, shit. Delete that. We don't want that. We want a physics material. Call this one blood. Said I don't actually have a blood. So the zombie needs blood. Now, to make it real, we should give them body capsules other than one big capsule. So we'll do that. So on pistol arms, we're shooting here. We're going to add another one. Copy. We're going to put it at the top. So you remember you have this one here that has the, oh no, we don't, oh yeah, has that false. It's kind of this default value. So if we have blood, then we are going to use blood event. Now I said I don't have a blood particle, so I am going to just use this guy, but we have to do other things as well. We need to say random int set, oh, we need a send event, but I need set int data. So we need a random int. Let's go, I don't know, if he has, say, 50 hit points, let's go 15 to 25. That's our damage. Move him to the top. And we need to set the int data damage. And we're going to send to, now you would think it's going to be the hit object, but it's not, right? Because we are going to have body colliders. Hit. Okay, root of hit object. Right, so we need to get root of the hit object, and we store that as the root of the hit object. There we go. So technically now he doesn't have any colliders to actually hit him though, so let's build those real quick. And the easy, fast way to do those, if you don't know how to do this, then you'll learn something new. There's ragdoll, which we could always add ragdoll to him. Just drag his pelvis in. Let's open these up a bit. So we have the left leg, which is the left hip there. Calf is the knee. And the left foot. Hip, knee, foot. So under here we have left arm, left elbow. Oh no, we don't want to use that collarbone, sorry. Left arm, left elbow. Yeah, you don't want to use that one. Right arm, right elbow, middle spine, and neck to head. Let's give him a weight of, we'll say 150. Sure. And create. Alright, so now we have, he's got his colliders. His head collider is super small, and we can adjust all that. It's not a big deal. So that now we should be able to actually hit him. And gave him a physics material. So I messed up again. So zombie. So we need the arms. Our capsules. The head is not a capsule. Those are capsules. Drag that into blood. Head needs blood. Spine needs blood. Those, not that. Those all need blood. Pelvis is a box. It needs blood. You could also do tags for this. So there we go. There's our kind of our little zombie. Had a knee day. Stupid zombie, get away from me! Can use some hit effects on him, but that's kind of the base of how he's getting started anyways. So I'm just going to prefab him, and we do need to change this thing. Mind you, I guess we always could just leave it like that and have him just deactivated, I guess, until you walk in a room. I don't know. We'll figure that out. So let's get rid of him, and let's save the scene, and we'll call the video good there, and we'll talk to you guys in the next one. All right.